What I learned about life. I learned from Dark Shadows by Michael Summers. In 1966, two television shows hit the airwaves, and for me, just a kid with wide eyes and too much imagination, they became more than just shows. They were doorways. The first was Star Trek. That 5-year mission, which, as it turned out, only lasted 3 on the network, but would live forever in reruns, movies, conventions, and my own bloodstream, carved itself into my heart. It was my go-to sci-fi fix, my portal to the stars, and it whispered in my ear about a future that was out there, just waiting. The second was Dark Shadows, a soap opera of all things. But not just any soap. It started off like all the rest, overwrought melodrama, tears and cheating and marriages collapsing in slow motion, and it was tanking, dead in the water, until producer Dan Curtis, a man with a gambler's instinct and a storyteller's hunger, rolled the dice. He gave us something no other soap opera dared touch with a 10-foot pole: the supernatural. The first leap into the uncanny came with the Phoenix storyline, a tale about a woman cursed, or blessed, depending on your taste, with unholy fire. Suddenly, Dark Shadows wasn't just a soap. It was a seance held every afternoon in American living rooms. Ratings rose from the grave. Young fans like me leaned closer to the screen, and the show stepped across a boundary line no one else even dared to sketch. But like any addict knows, the first hit isn't enough. The Phoenix burned itself out, and Curtis needed to give us the next fix. Where to turn? Straight to the graveyard. Straight to Dracula. Because public domain meant free pickings, no lawsuits, no copyright handcuffs. Just pure nightmare fuel. And so came Barnabas Collins, a vampire cursed with a conscience, fanged and tragic and unforgettable. After him came witches, werewolves, demons, stitched-together monsters, and even time travel that twisted the Collins family through history like a Mobius strip. For 6 years, the show lurched and staggered on as the dead and evil things roamed the town of Collinsport, equal parts brilliant and ludicrous, before Curtis and his crew finally pulled the plug. The well had run dry. The ideas had started circling back, eating their own tails like a snake that didn't know when to quit. But the damage was already done. Good damage, like a scar you're secretly proud of. The show lived on in syndication, became a cult classic, even spawned 3 movies. The latest, Tim Burton's glossy, jokey remake with Johnny Depp, wasn't the disaster some people claim, but it wasn't the show either. It was a carnival mirror reflection, funny, warped but hollow. Still, for me, the original Dark Shadows was never hollow. It was alive. Even when it was clumsy, even when the actors flubbed their lines and the sets wobbled, it had a heartbeat. It taught me things, strange, silly, spooky lessons that stuck with me long after the credits rolled. I wrote them down, gathered them like souvenirs from an old haunted house, and put them together here for anyone who ever loved the Collins family as much as I did. Enjoy, if that's the right word. 1. Don't confront someone you suspect is a villain by yourself while unarmed. Don't play with witches unless you have the supreme upper hand. 2. Don't let the infamous Afghan blanket enter your home. 3. Don't dance at the blue whale. 4. Don't go looking for things you don't want to find. 5. Blondes do have more fun. 6. Don't go into the basement of the old house at night. Hell, just don't go to the old house. 7. Don't be trying to rob graves. You never know what could be waiting for you. 8. Hypnotism is easy. Here, look at this pretty but big and gaudy piece of jewelry. 9. Saying I don't understand will either get you an answer or get you out of trouble. Or not. I don't know. I just don't understand. 10. Always insist, but you must. 11. I don't understand. What? Waits for someone to speak my lines for me. 12. Don't open a coffin wrapped in padlock chains. 13. If you're upset, ask for a sedative or brandy, whatever's at hand at the time. 14. A sedative makes everything better. 15. Mind your own business. 16. Never explore the rooms in a creepy house that isn't yours. 17. Don't disagree with the popular opinion or you'll be sent to Wyncliffe. 18. Don't stand where the camera will catch you just off stage, and don't move things off camera while the show is going on. It breaks that fourth wall. 19. Always make sure there's plenty of brandy. 20. Don't lean on styrofoam trees, or walls, or tombstones. 21. Even after you've been a victim of a vampire, you won't recognize the symptoms in other people. You just think they're having mental issues like being hit in the head. 22 paintings of pretty blondes will mesmerize you. No, really. I know this guy, Roger. He got all mesmerized just looking at some hot old dead blonde. Weird, man. Just weird. 23. Never go out in the woods without something silver on you or with you. 24. Never answer the door. It's never the Avon lady. 25. Don't have a seance unless you are packed for another century. 26. Don't let some snotty brat tell you he has stuff in a part of the house that's locked off and he wants you to see it. If you do, be sure you bring a spare key. 27. If your name is Vicky, change it. Bad things happen to people named Vicky or Victoria for that matter. 28. When you say Julia, say it a lot, especially during a project that is supposed to raise the dead in a lab. 29. When you have a heart attack and you wear glasses, rip those things off for a more dramatic effect. Just clutching your chest isn't enough. 30. Expensive jewels are never stored in a coffin. 31. If someone you've never met before calls you a jerk just for accepting a job at a spooky but rich family's home, realize that they're just trying to get on your good side. 32. Crystal balls only work for little boys and old gypsy women. 33. Physical pain is a relative thing. Getting bitten by Angelique releases endorphins not previously known to man. 34. Never threaten to tell a secret to someone to betray another or to protect yourself before you do it. 35. Vampire men must always open the lid to their coffins on their own. Vampire women just stare at the lid while inside it, and the lid opens magically. 36. Don't answer antique telephones, especially if they're not actually hooked up to anything. 37. To make sure people come to your home to talk with you, don't own a phone of any kind, but be sure to keep your doors locked at all times. You just never know who the hell will walk in unannounced. 38. Never try to crush a glass. They never break. 39. Buy stocking candles. Blue ones are rather fashionable, I hear. 40. Never play with I Ching wand alone. 41. Don't expect anyone to stay here. 42. Graveyards in Collinsport are so overly packed that it's hard to find a place to bury someone. 43. If holding a seance, always make sure you are touching your pinky fingers to some other person's pinky finger. It helps to know you're not alone. 44. If you see a coffin that is chained shut, leave it alone. 45. Always announce who you are before starting a story. Use, "My name is Victoria Winters." It seems to draw the audience in. 46. Don't ever threaten Barnabas Collins. 47. Never say, "You look just like this guy I knew and fell in love with while I was in the past." It just won't get you any points. 48. Being hit with a wolf's head cane can leave a mark. 49. Trees die if you tie a witch to them. So, if you're a witch, please don't be a tree hugger. 50. Never enter a room where the furniture keeps appearing and disappearing right before your very eyes. 51. If your friend starts wearing a scarf 24/7, call a doctor, unless your doctor is wearing a scarf. 52. Remember, a music box does not play music. It makes tinkling sounds. 53. Always pronounce words ending with an S in a slightly snaky way. Seem to work for a certain vampire we know. 54. When you give a little girl a recorder, teach her more than just one tune. 55. When you die, you may come back with your right eyeball popped out. I saw it happen twice, really. A guy and a gal. Gross, man. Real gross. 56. How many candles does it take to light the old house? All of them. 57. Don't look into anyone's eyes. 58. Never fall in love with someone out of your league. No matter how you feel about them, they will look at you like you're some dead dude that just got raised from the grave. 59. Never piss off a witch. 60. Do what the warlock says. You'll pay for it if you don't. 61. Never cross a vampire. Yeah, they hate crosses. 62. Food is usually boiled in the Collins household. 63. If you suspect someone of being a vampire, don't confront them with that info, and especially don't anger them by telling them you are the umpteenth person to talk to their beloved sister's ghost when they still haven't seen her yet. 64. If someone asks if you want to see how their brooch sparkles, say no way. 65. Never trust anything a 200-year-old vampire tells you. 66. Don't discuss marriage if you only have dated a month. 67. Don't listen to your mother. Just do what you want. 68. When someone says I don't understand, they really don't understand. 69. Don't sing to Barnabas. All in all, you're just another brick in the wall. 70. If the radio starts playing by the time I get to Phoenix, turn it off right away. 71. Julia has the best candy. 72. Don't piss off a gypsy. You could either lose a hand or find out you need to shave more often during full moons. 73. Always wear turtlenecks. Only go out in pairs. 74. Don't ever leave home without your raincoat and umbrella. It rains in Collinsport almost every day. 75. Never trust that your husband's best friend will bury your dead husband's body in the basement. 76. The weather in Collinwood is always stormy, especially when heavy drama is going on. 77. Don't even talk to the kids. They may be possessed. 78. If someone says that they think the house is possessed, don't laugh them off. 79. Don't close the coffin lid on your fingers. Ouch. 80. Stay away from antique shops in the village. 81. Spout snarky comments while you're drinking your brandies, plural. 82. Make sure you give your maid, Angelique, enough work to do cause you know that idle hands are the devil's playthings. 83. Be a little suspicious of people whom you never see during the day, but you only see at night. 84. Never drive a vehicle that your kid likes to tinker with. 85. Don't trust David with a technical manual. 86. If you don't want to love someone through all time and eternity, don't dally with a gorgeous maid. 87. If you hear wolves howl, you can be sure a vampire is around. 88. Don't ever embark upon a career as a grave robber. 89. Never trust a tape recorder that records without being turned on. 90. Don't open mysterious old boxes with severed hands or heads in them. 91. Be careful of the clothes you choose to wear, as you may find yourself unexpectedly in another time and place. 92. Some scary ghost or vampire will enslave you if you're pretty and nice. 93. You can find gorgeous new vintage clothes in your size in trunks and in used parts of your house. 94. Never climb stairs you don't recognize. 95. Don't arrange your romantic rendezvous at the local suicide hotspot on the cliffs. 96. Knock real hard on front doors. 97. Don't let the man trying to blackmail you live in your house and drive your daughter into rebellion because she can't understand why he is there. 98. Afghans can be worn as dresses. 99. Even cool vampires can get their asses handed to them by a big reanimated corpse. 100. Everyone who wears a coat will have the lapels flipped up in the back, so they can look cool. 101. When you are rich, you never have to know anyone's phone number. 102. Lock your doors, especially at night, when monsters are roaming the neighborhood. 90% of all the problems in Collinwood could have been prevented if they had just kept the door locked. 103. Don't feel bad about your love life. Even a dead guy can't find love. 104. It's always good to be rich enough to have a mausoleum built to spec so you can get out in case you're buried alive. 105. If your 10-year-old is very adept at reading Popular Mechanics magazine and has the ability to remove an important part from the braking system on your car, then the child does not need a governess. He needs a job at the local filling station. 106. Never trust a man with a devilish grin who wears a green suit and a Robin Hood hat. It won't go well for you if you do. Let's face it, Dark Shadows wasn't just a television show. It was an education. It taught us that every mansion should have at least 3 secret rooms. Every respectable family should keep a vampire or 2 in the family tree. Every mystery deserves another seance, and no matter how impossible things become, someone will eventually suggest a sedative or pour another glass of brandy. We learned that monsters can be tragic, heroes can be flawed, and the supernatural is often just another inconvenience before dinner. We discovered that locked doors should stay locked, chained coffins should stay chained, and if someone says, "Come with me, there's something I want to show you," the correct answer is almost always no thanks. Most of all, we learned that perfection isn't what makes a show unforgettable. Wobbly sets, forgotten lines, wandering microphones, and special effects held together with imagination somehow became part of the magic. Those imperfections gave Dark Shadows a personality all its own, one that has kept fans returning to Collinwood for 6 decades. So pour yourself a brandy, light a blue candle, avoid mysterious music boxes, and remember one final lesson that probably should have been number 107. Never underestimate the power of a show that refuses to stay dead. Happy anniversary, Dark Shadows.